Well, I figured I'd do a follow-up video on the shooting that happened in Toledo, Ohio at the Old West End Festival. The mass shooting, as everyone is erroneously referring to it as. I mean, supposedly, it's a mass shooting, sure, but it's a gang shooting, really. That's what it is. It's gang violence. So I think it's disingenuous to define it, to frame it as a mass shooting, because it's not really what a mass shooting is, generally speaking. So in the shooting, I'll play a little bit of the footage, just have it on the side here while I talk. The victims of these two groups of people getting angry at each other and deciding to shoot at each other in a festival surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands, of people, including children. Was a 14, two 16-year-olds, a 20-year-old, a 22-year-old, two 22-year-olds, sorry, a 24-year-old, two 29-year-olds, a 36-year-old, a 57-year-old, and a 61-year-old. The injuries were 5 people got shot in the legs, various spots in the legs. One person's grazed by a bullet. One was shot in the arm and lower back. Another person shot in the abdomen, and one person was shot in the head. So, big issues here. And it's not like, yeah, okay, they're all alive. They're going to recover. But obviously, the people who get shot in the gut or in the head are going to have some serious recovery. And not to mention the time spent recovering. You're off of your job or whatever. I mean, luckily, they weren't pregnant or anything. Well, I mean, luckily, they're not dead, I suppose. It's totally absurd, of course, that this happened, and it happened for literally no reason. I mean, it was in a festival surrounded by people, and people just got mad at each other, and that was that. And that's not a defensible thing. Like you have all these people out there that are defending Carmelo Anthony, saying that you have to treat black people differently than you treat everyone else. As black people are special. You can't treat a black person the same way you treat other people because they'll stab you or because they'll pull out a gun and shoot you. And, well, you know what? I don't think that's true. But I do think that certain people, not necessarily black, but certain people of a certain background, a certain demeanor, they will pull out a knife or a gun. And I think we're seeing it more and more clearly here as we have more and more cameras, more and more body cams, and just more and more social media presence. That's the state media, like I said, they're trying to call this a mass shooting, but it's not. It's a gang shooting. And when the mass media they controlled all the narratives, well, people kind of just said, "Oh, another mass shooting, classic America." But that's not what this is, really. And people are starting to wake up to that. So the people who did it, Kanai Taylor, 20. Previously, they said that he was, that's not Kanai, that's LJ Crispcar. Sorry, start with him. Well, LJ Crispcar is 20, and allegedly he was the defender here. Supposedly, Crispcar, as you can see him smiling there in court. Apparently, I'm guessing, I keep getting their names backwards. That's Kanai Taylor. Kanai Taylor. It's very easy to remember. And then this is LJ Crispcar. Apparently, Crispcar was the defender here. Now, this actually is like a fuzzy spot to me. Let's say you're at a festival and someone starts shooting at you. You are the defender here, but what are you supposed to do? You pull out your gun and shoot back at them, but you're surrounded by people. And you can aim low, like, I don't know, not even 2 months ago, I think, there was that crazy guy who committed a mass shooting, which wasn't even his first mass shooting, and that was a mass shooting. That really was just a crazy person. Some crazy black guy, I think it was in New York, I want to say. I did a video on it, but it's fuzzy because there's so many of them. He had an assault rifle, like he was playing GTA 6, just rolling around on the ground shooting at people, walking through the middle of the street shooting. Now, that guy, he had been locked up before for a mass shooting, and they let him out again. And he was, I think, shot in the leg, and that's how he was brought down. They aimed low. You can hear the cop say, it was a cop and an ex-Marine. They said to aim low. Actually, I don't know if there's audio for it, but I remember reading it. But I don't know. I guess anyone could fabricate that. But they aim low on purpose. This is obvious. Anyone with a brain knows you aim low to incapacitate the person without having your bullet go through some person's house and kill them in their sleep or something, right? Like, everyone knows this. So the problem is that this is two gangs fighting each other. Like, first of all, you're not in a 1v1. So what do you do, really? But then you're surrounded by all these people. Like, that is a fuzzy spot to me. I'm interested, like, hopefully I can remember to keep up with this case, because I'm interested to see what leniency they give the defender, whoever they decide it is. Supposedly it's Crispcar, but we'll see. They're going to have to give them some sort of leniency, right, for being the defender. Of course, I would hope that both of these people get, like, the worst the worst penalty imaginable, and we'll get to that point of the video because that is really the main thing I wanted to talk about. But the reason I wanted to do an update on this is because in my original Carmelo Anthony video, which I'm trying not to Carmelo like a lot of people are, I know it's tempting, really, I want to, because the clapback that people are giving for that, the ridiculous accusations that you just have to treat black people differently, wild. The reaction is absolutely wild. But these two guys, I made an assumption about them before I even knew who they were, before anyone knew who they were. They were just no suspects, actually. It was just two gangs shooting at each other. That was the story originally. When I first made my Carmelo Anthony video, this had just happened. There was no suspects. So I assumed that it was gang shooting instead of a mass shooting based off of what I was seeing and hearing. I also said that the festival looked like it was purely black people based off of the video I'd seen, which I'd only watched a little bit because there was no suspects or anything at that point. There are like huge groups of white people that I've seen in other videos and pictures, but it almost seems like segregated. Like most of the black people are around black people and most of the white people are around white people. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way it is. I don't know. I wasn't there. I've never been to Ohio. I don't know. But yes, this is just a recap of that, and then I want to talk about what they're doing to resolve the issue, which is just going to make it worse, as politicians always do. So this is, again, this is Crisp's car being sentenced. Well, not sentenced, but charged.
Mr. Carr, do you understand that you're charged with 11 counts of felonious assault, each one being a felony of the second degree? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, the state of Ohio currently believes that there is no monetary bond or condition of release that would be sufficient to protect the community or to ensure the defendant's return to court. Therefore, pursuant to revised code 2937.222, we are requesting that the defendant be held without bail.
A public defender pushed back, calling the no bond request grandstanding. The judge.
It's grandstanding. I love that. So, yeah, there's some 17-year-old involved too for trying to run the gun away. And this guy, Crisp Carr, he has a history. When he was 18, he had some involvement with the SWAT units, where he had a concealed weapons charge. And then apparently when he was 15, an unknown man shot him, accusing him of stealing his dog. I don't know whether or not he did steal the dog, or if the man was unknown to him, or why it happened. It's probably just a story he made up. Like, it was probably gang violence, or hell, he may have just shot himself in the leg, and he probably just said that some guy accused me of stealing his dog and shot me. Like, who knows? But he's grandstanding on the bond. I mean, did you not hear what happened, Mr. Public Defender? I mean, I know it's your job to defend criminals, which is why I hate lawyers, but he had a bond of 1.1 million, which I believe is less than Chud the Builder. Now, I don't really want to defend Chud the Builder, but like, I don't think you should get like extra grievances in the courtrooms. And I know every judge does things differently, but Chud the Builder's bond was insane considering what happened and what happened with these people, gang members, wildly shooting around children and elderly and pregnant people and all everybody. And you have, what was it, 14 was the youngest, all the way to 67, 12 victims, people shot in the head, and their bond is somehow lower than Chud the Builder's. And it was originally, it was originally 1.1 million. Was this guy? One of these was originally something, and then it was given no bail. And then there's his Taylor's, Kanai Taylor's. He had a $500,000 bond, which is, I believe it was 500,000, which is, I mean, that's less than half of Chud the Builder's, considering what happened. I think it's a bit funny, and here's he smiling in the courtroom. I mean,
Lucas County Jail. He was booked on 11 felonious assault charges after investigators say he fired into a large crowd during an altercation at the festival back on June 6th.
Yeah, so he just smirked real quick when he was smiling there, but otherwise he's doing that tough, puffy face they always do. So these guys, they've got a $500,000 bond. The other one's on no bail. Again, I guess it's just depending on what the judge does. One of the judges recused themselves because they knew someone who was in the festival. I don't really know why that matters, unless, I don't know. I mean, so moving on to the punishments, emotions, right? The punishments that they should be getting, which are seemingly being neutered by the politicians for some reason.
In the days following the Old West End mass shooting, it's been a call to action repeated again.
I am calling on the mayor and the prosecutor to explore criminally charging parents when unsecured firearms land in the hands of children.
I don't think that particular case was this one, because she's talking about children. These guys are both in their 20s, so I think that was just like a recap of some other thing that happened.
And again,
We need to bring good parenting back,
to tackle.
making them responsible and accountable for their children's conduct.
Well, that one definitely is, because you can see in the background, it's got the Old West End mass shooting. Again, mass shooting written there. I'm not actually in favor of holding parents accountable for things that adults are doing. Where's the line there? If you set the line like, okay, well, there's hundreds and hundreds of millions of women and little girls walking around in erotic clothing all the time, everywhere. And really, that's breaking laws of public indecency. But it's fine. It's fine. Like, no one upholds the laws, right? But what if one day people do decide to uphold those laws? Well, then all hell breaks loose, because you have hundreds of millions of girls who are dressing inappropriately, and now what are you going to blame the parents for the way their 25-year-old daughter dresses? Like, they're adults. This isn't like a 13-year-old boy who he found the gun and he has some sort of like psychosis and he wants to go to school and do a shooting. No. This is adults. We're talking about adults here. I don't like. Even with older teens, I don't think that punishing the parents is necessarily fair, because the children they're not raised in a bubble. Like, they have freedoms and they have friends. They're taught at school. They're taught by activist teachers to be certain things, which can screw up their brain as well. Sometimes their activist doctors give them whatever pills, and like, I don't agree with the parental punishment necessarily. It depends on the circumstance, but these people always act as if it's some sort of magic bullet that will solve the problem.
And now, Toledo Mayor Wade Kapsakavage says his new ordinance will do just that.
Because they're idiots.
Today, I sent an ordinance to City Council that really is sort of the first official city response in terms of a new policy, new laws. The first time it really holds parents accountable for the actions of their young people.
Their young people. It holds parents accountable for the actions of their young people. Was that just a weird way to phrase that, or was that like a new wokeness thing? I don't know. But it's very milquetoast. It's not going to work out.
He says it's modeled after what's being done in Detroit. The mayor says the ordinance would allow the city to assign special safety zones. Those zones would give the city certain powers to enforce how young people behave in holding their parents accountable.
That's completely idiotic. First of all, let's look at the power dynamic here, shall we? You have gang members, 20-year-old gang members in this particular case, but you have older teens and such. Even tweens are in gangs these days, even preteens in some cases. They're walking around with guns, covered in tattoos, and they're instantaneously coming to the decision to just murder people that they get mad at, even while surrounded in broad daylight by countless people and countless cameras, whom they are hurting, whom they are inevitably they're definitely going to get caught. What do you think their parents are supposed to do? Like, even if you want to blame the parent, how do you expect the parents to deal with that? That's not the parent's fault anymore. Like, that's just an unhinged madman with a gun. You can't put that on the parent, really, can you? It's insane.
Depending on the infraction that would take place in one of these safety zones, there are fines, $250 for the first offense, $500 for the next offense, etc.
He says the punishments go all the way up to a 4th-degree misdemeanor.
Oh my God, a 4th-degree misdemeanor? Wow. You know what? I bet those grown-ass men covered in tattoos, in gangs, with guns, murdering each other, are going to be real scared of that 4th-degree misdemeanor. And if not the 4th-degree misdemeanor, they're definitely going to be scared of their mama giving them a spanking when they get caught, right?
The fact that parents could be criminally punished for the actions of their children at these events, I think is a substantial statement from the city.
You're a fucking idiot, and you should not be the mayor. But you're not the dumbest person out of this. There's another person who's actually making it even worse. Another politician with another dumb decision. Now, that was the Ohio Toledo Mayor Capybara. I don't remember his name. And this is the governor of Ohio.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine grabbed national headlines this week when he publicly announced that he has reversed his position on the death penalty, decades after he helped write the law to allow capital punishment in Ohio.
It is today impossible to make the case that the death penalty is a deterrent.
As I said, idiot. Absolute idiot. A deterrent? It's not a deterrent. These people are adults covered in tattoos, young adults even, covered in tattoos, with guns, going around in gangs, in public, committing, well, mass shootings, as you like to say. It's gang violence, but it ends up as a mass shooting, and that's even worse. That's even worse, because that's something that is just going to keep happening. It's not one crazy person, it's an institutionalized mentality. And you think you're going to deter them? With what, then? If you're getting rid of capital punishment, what's your deterrence? Torture? Because it has to be worse than capital punishment, right? So it has to just be nonstop torture, really. That's the only solution that could be worse. As with the people who think they're going to punish the parents, and that's going to stop these lunatics, frankly, the Neanderthals who are just murdering each other, murdering other people, murdering innocents for no reason whatsoever, it's not a deterrent. It's a solution. You're supposed to be solving the problem. That's your job. They're the problem. You're gonna, what exactly? What are you gonna do to solve it? Are you gonna give them a chainsaw and let them run free in a daycare? Is that how you're gonna solve the problem? What could you possibly do to make it worse besides getting rid of the death penalty and putting all of the blame on the parents? So now it's not the 20-year-old's fault. It's the parents' fault. It's not the punishment of the death penalty for people who are going to murder other people. It's a slap on the wrist. They're completely taking away any accountability from these people. And why exactly? Because they're liberals, I guess, white. I don't know. Now, apparently, they have a very small minority who wants to abolish the death penalty. So it's probably just virtue signaling. Like, it's probably just democratic, liberal virtue signaling, as you can see here. I swear to God, no skin color, no religion, no foreign country hates America as much as white liberal Americans. They hate America more than anyone else. Execution is not the solution. Oh, God. We remember the victims, but not with more killing. It's not about remembering. You don't execute someone to remember the victims. You execute someone as punishment for what they did to the victim, and so that they don't make more victims. And you people, what are you doing? You're making crappy signs that don't even make any sense. You're holding up what execution is not the solution. That's what you're going to do? Are you going to invite these people into your house to live with you, to sleep in your bed? Is that what you're going to do when they're let free out of prison? Are you going to make sure that they don't do anything wrong? No. You're just going to sit there with some nonsensical sign. We remember the victims, but not with more chocolate fudge volcano cakes. It makes no sense. It's not about remembering the victim. It's about punishment. It's about fixing the problem. That's it. And they don't understand that. I don't know why exactly. They just have something wrong with them. There's just something wrong with liberals. They were born in an era, I guess, of too much peace, and they became fat and happy, apathetic, complacent, and they're just too dumb to understand that there is real problems in the world, and they think the solution for that is signs and activism. Ugh. I didn't need to include that last part with Vivek Ramaswamy on the right, a Republican who said he's going to continue with constitutionalized death penalties, and the woman on the left, she's a Democrat. I didn't need to include it, but they did this lady so dirty with this picture that I just I bust out laughing when I was watching it the first time. Like, why? She looks like a basset hound. Like, why would you include this? I don't know. Anyway, I just couldn't believe that, one, they're blaming the parents instead of, like, I know they're trying to do that all over the place. Like, they think these black kids who are going around causing trouble, the teen takeovers and all of that, all the murders and gang shootings, they think they're scared of their parents. What, I mean, like, first of all, they don't have a dad. And then secondly, they're not going to be scared of their mom, are they? Oh, they're a grown-ass man with a gun in a gang. What? Oh, no, mom might spank me. Like, they care more about what their peers think of them than what their mother thinks of them. They don't. These people, they have no idea what they're doing. It's like the Democrats, they always try and relate to people, but they have no understanding of humans. Again, they're like aliens. I've made an entire video on that. The Democrats are like aliens that can't understand humans, and they're trying to connect with them and make everything better, but they're not. They're just making it worse. And then you have the governor who's trying to get rid of the death penalty that he himself wrote into being like decades ago, or was part of, advocated for, and now he's trying to get rid of it with totally idiotic claims like, oh, very, very intelligent people have reasoned for this on both sides. Bipartisan empathy trumps reason, you idiot.
Reasonable people for centuries have come down on both sides of this issue.
DeWine.
Again, reason is trumped by emotion. Anger, lust, and of course, any kind of empathy that the liberals have. Is that a volcano they have on their state flag? That's weird, unless I'm just not understanding what it is. But again, these people are trying to just take any culpability away from criminals, and I don't know why. Well, there's the culture to begin with, like the ghetto culture, hood culture that's resulted in this. The fact that no one's done anything about it for the many decades that it's been brewing and bubbling and building up, and now it's just boiling over the pot. There's the stupid parental thing, which never works, and now there's this guy getting rid of the death penalty. What's going to be left? If you aren't going to punish the people who do the crime, and they're willing to kill you for no reason whatsoever, what do you think happens at the end of the day? Simple question. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do the YouTube things.